And so I listened to the self-titled tracks that were online, which is for sale for $6 still, correct, on Bandcamp?
Yeah, it's actually in the iTunes and the Spotify, and we released it last year, March 2015.
Okay, well, it's definitely worth the $6 if not more, so everybody should check that out. I love what you guys are doing. It's interesting, you look at influences online when people list bands and stuff, and you almost hate yourself for looking at it, but then you're like, well, you put that up, so I get to look at it.
Sure.
But I was like, I did hear it, and I didn't. I think that Wilco is definitely there.
Yeah. I used to listen to lots of Jeff Tweedy.
And he's a good guy, or he's probably terrible, but he's a fantastic
Might not be
musician.
terrible.
Yeah, I'm sure, Jeff Tweedy, if you're out there, I love you so much. But I listen to your music all the time. So, but I love what you guys are doing. It definitely sounds original and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
And then there's also the Out of the Dark song, which is up there as well.
That's a single we just released a couple months back. And that's just popping up now in the iTunes and the Spotify as well.
Right? And, right, like you don't know that, I'm not. So, you guys are brothers, first of all, which I think is interesting, and you moved here separately in the 2000s.
Yeah, I came out here first to play music, actually, and was in a couple groups, and then kind of fizzled out, and then convinced him to come out here, and we started playing in a group called Falcon. And
That's awesome.
We did that for a year or two. I think something like that, year and a half or two.
And you weren't metal; you were just called Falcon.
No, we even actually play some of the old Falcon repertoire. But had a couple other good players with us, and we played around town quite a bit. And then realized that there was another band called Falcon in Brooklyn,
in New York.
Oh no!
and they were just about to release an EP, and we were trying to release an EP, and didn't want to have any kind of confusion or anything, so. We had to go.
But you never got a cease and desist from them or anything.
Oh no. we were just being smart. Yeah.
No, definitely. So you're working on a new release.
Yep.
For early 2015.
Yeah, should be, and probably 2 releases. Or we have enough material to probably put out a record and a half at least, but we're probably going to just do 2 EPs.
We do it all ourselves, it takes a long time. Definitely does, but we're trying to expedite the process, and it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of control in the studio. We enjoy doing it ourselves. It's turned out good so far.
So you like having the control and doing it
yourselves? Yeah. Well, I went to school for recording and production, and so it's a little hard to just step back, which I kind of want to do at some point, but I enjoy having the control.
The power.
Yeah. Right, like you wouldn't do it unless you had a relationship with the person or something.
Right, yeah.
Well, I mean, what you've done so far proves that you know what you're doing, so it sounds great. So you're doing that, you're doing at Crybaby, is that right?
Crybaby Studios.
That's where our studio is. It's kind of in Capitol Hill. It's crazy. Dirty, dank basement, but we do what we can with it, and we work out of there.
And they love it, Crybaby, we're sure. It's cool. Besides the mention of Wilco, do you guys have any other influences that you'd like to talk about?
I love a lot of classic rock. Big influences are like the Band and Neil Young, the Kinks, Elvis Costello. But more modern stuff's probably like, I don't know, Pedro the Lion, the Weaker Thans, Wilco. You're big into Ockerville River.
I did like Ockerville, America for some reason.
I saw that on the thing, and
There's
I was
something
like,
about so many of their songs that just hits me the right way. It's bizarre. But I was a big Elliott Smith fan. I like all kinds of music as long as it's well played.
Yeah.
Which Elliott
all over the place.
Is amazing. As a drummer, Chris, do you have a specific set of drummers as influences?
Not really. I mean, I kind of go off of songwriting, and I love a lot of drummers. I mean, I can't think of his name now. The drummer in Bill Withers' band is incredible. It's got such a good groove, I just kind of do what I can. I mean, I'm and foremost a guitar player.
mostly a guitar
so,
player.
Oh, okay.
drumming's kind of the second thing that I did out of necessity because growing up, it's always hard to find a drummer, and so
Drummers are the
I'm just gonna
hardest,
learn
yeah.
how to play myself. So I
Yep,
can do it.
pretty much 2/3 of the bands that I've interviewed, like, we go through drummers like nobody's business. And I look at these people, I'm like, well, y'all seem all right to me. I don't know what, I'm not saying that drummers are flaky. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just wondering what's the deal with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Sounds like what
Totally.
It does sound like that, thank you. Drummers. Stick with your stuff. Let's see. Another thing I wanted to talk about was you had mentioned the shows that you played on the 22nd and 23rd in Long Beach, Washington,
it's
at
coming
the
up.
Drift.
Yeah, at the Drift. This is the second time we've played out there. It's a really cool spot in Long Beach, Washington. The longest beach, I think, in Washington. Maybe.
It better not be the
in
shortest,
country.
because
Could
that's
be.
a misnomer.
It's a long beach. And we're going to play 2 nights there, the 22nd and 23rd of November. We were there last October and did it. And
2 hour
we're psyched-
sets.
Yeah, we're psyched they're having us
2 hour
back.
sets.
2 hours.
Wow. And that's
Brief
2 nights in a
intermission,
row.
but-
Is there like a festival or something going on, or it's just
No, they have a venue there, so it's like there's a place to stay, there's a beach, there's stuff to do on the beach, campfires on the beach, and there's bikes you can take
Drive
out.
on the beach.
how could you
drive
say
on the
no?
beach.
Yeah, that sounds great.
But they have a venue there. There's a restaurant venue, it's great. If anyone hasn't gone to the Adrift, you should go to the Adrift.
Yeah.
There you go. I've never gone. Sounds beautiful. Are there hotels? No.
It is
Where do
a
you stay?
hotel,
B&Bs?
yeah.
Okay.
It is, kind of like a hipster hotel on the beach, pretty much, and you can get
Reasonable prices.
yeah, it isn't that expensive. Good beer. Yeah, it's great.
Sounds like I know where my next trip is. Maybe I can make it coincide with these shows, actually.
Yeah.
And then another thing that we had talked about was your recent show at the Rendezvous.
Yeah. Yeah, we just played a show with the Strumbellas, which is the 2014 Juno Award winner in the folk category. In Canada, it's kind of like a Grammy, I believe. So that's cool. It was fun to open for them. We had a good time. And it was great.
So Tiny Messengers. as well.
And Tiny Messengers, yeah, they're really good too.
Excellent. Let's see, you're on Pandora now.
Yeah, that happened
Yay.
just this last first half of the year, actually. Pandora decided to let us into the Music Genome Project.
So
which is pretty
you
cool.
must have, because I haven't been on Pandora yet. I mean, I've been on it, but I'm not personally on it.
Mm-hmm.
So have you done the, like, okay, I'm going to start a playlist under my name,
Yeah.
and then see who they say you are like?
Yeah, it was
what,
cool.
What was, like, the most complimenting one? Like, oh, really? You think we're like them? And then what was the one where you're like, we are not like Tupac Shakur. I don't know what this is.
Yeah. The first time, I've only done it once that I can remember. So
What?
a
I
couple
would do
times.
it like every day.
Well, probably, yeah, it doesn't register, so I can't remember more than the first time. You always remember your first time.
Of course.
And so Soul Asylum came up
Soul
in the queue
Asylum.
next.
That's
And
awesome.
That was pretty hilarious.
That's
That was
awesome,
good.
though.
It made me want
You're
to
like, how do they know how old I am? I don't understand.
Huh.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
We used to listen to Soul Asylum. Back in the day.
At least it wasn't Candlebox.
Right.
Where you're like, that's even
No.
further. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Soul Asylum. Love it. So let's see. So you're working on the new record, so everybody look out for that. And you also been on Ball of Wax too. So,
Yeah, we've.
Compilation.
which anybody who doesn't know about Ball of Wax, maybe you can enlighten them very briefly about your involvement, because
Yeah,
you've been on
sure.
it several times.
Yeah, well, I found Mr. Levi Fuller just on the interwebs after we had released the EP, and he was looking for submissions. I submitted one. He liked it, put it on, and that song's gotten a couple plays on KXP, which is pretty cool. Then we did a song. He did a volume with just songs in 3/4 waltzes. So my brother wrote one actually here, and we got it on there. A song called Great River, and then we've been on 2 more after that. But the last one he did was a kids album with illustrations, so we had a song on that too. That was a lot of fun. So,
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Levi does good work.
mean, I see it all over town, and you can find stuff online. But I was actually in a toy store.
Oh yeah.
And I said, why do they have ball
cool.
of wax in a toy store? And then I looked at it, I was like, oh, this is why. It's children's songs and illustrations. It's beautiful. But for anybody who doesn't know, ball of wax is an amazing thing put on by a man named Levi Fuller. It's a wonderful collection of music with local musicians, and often he picks a theme, which is always interesting. And always great players, always great. If you can pick up a ball of wax CD, you should do it.
Yeah, that's a good plug for him too.
Well, speaking of plugs, would you guys like to plug anything else besides the fact that you have a record coming out?
The Adrift Show is the big one. You know, you can find us on the internets, and yeah, we're going to be hibernating for the winter recording, but
Yeah.
yeah. You can
Time to
find
get
us all-
down to work. Yep. Winters come. Well, falls come, but once the rain hits, it's time to get to work.
I don't know, today it was pretty cold. Felt like the beginning of winter to me. All right, well, thank you very much for playing. Thank you very much for
having us.
interviewing.
Big time.
And I'll try and make it down to Long Beach if I can. How long's the drive?
Like 3 hours.
3 hours, yeah.
I can do that. It's worth it.
It's a pretty drive.
Right,
It is.
are we,
You're done.
Awesome.
woo!
Power of the walkie-talkie. It was awesome.
Didn't I say last time I was like, we gotta get some freaking walkie-talkies again?
And right here's the man who brought him.
All right.